Hey guys, welcome back. So, I just watched the video that made me tear up. There was a young boy who stood in front of a man who was praying outside a coffee shop. And the young boy thought that the man was homeless. And what's funny about this, and this is funny in a good way, was the young boy was looking for someone homeless, a homeless person, because he wanted to give his last dollar to the person. That to me is amazing because how many people from our current generation has that kind of purity in their heart, that kind of goodness. And so there's a twist to the story where the homeless man, when he opened his eyes, he was dumbfounded, according to his own words. He was surprised. Why is there a young boy standing in front of me while I'm praying? And it turned out that the man was Matthew Busbis. He's a multimillionaire. He's popular for his hunting videos online. And he was just shocked why there was a boy there. So the boy's name is Kelvin Ellis, and so Matthew told Kelvin that no, I'm not a homeless person, and he was asking why Kelvin was giving him $1, and Kelvin was explaining to him that he really wanted to give money to a homeless person, and this started a very good friendship between the two. So, long story short, the two became friends, and what's amazing is Matthew politely rejected the money. Of course, he doesn't need it, and Kelvin did not take offense. He was very respectful, even though his generosity was rejected. And how many people, when they get rejected for trying to help out, they grumble, they say something bad, right? And Matthew, being a multi-millionaire, he was mistaken for a homeless man. No hubris, no pride, no ego. He was very polite in talking to the boy. So it's one of those amazing stories that will really inspire you of the goodness of people in the world. There are still good people who are out there. Hey guys, welcome back. So I just watched a heartwarming Chinese video with English captions, of course. Otherwise, I won't be able to understand it. There's this young little girl named Tam Tam. Oh no, sorry, Tang Tang. Okay, there you go. So, Tang Tang is quite chubby and fat. She's also very cute. And her father asked her if they could go out on a walk every day after dinner so that, she could lose weight. And Tang Tang thought that her father was asking her to walk together every dinner because daddy was trying to lose weight, not her. So during the walk, in the video I saw, she asked, Are we trying to walk in order to slim down? Father said yes. Tang Tang said, Dad, you don't have to lose weight for me. I'm going to love you no matter what. That's coming from a young little girl. The message was so amazing because that kind of love, genuine, true love, unconditional love, is something that we all want, right? Whether you're a parent, whether you're a child, or both, it's something that we all want. And we can see that in young children, even today. And along that video, there's a footage where Daddy asked Tang Tang, Did your classmates tease you and called you fat? She said, yes, in a very cute way. And then Daddy said, boys or girls? She said, girls. And then Daddy said, are you angry about it? Tang Tang said, with an angry face, no. No, I'm not angry about it. I'm not mad about it. Daddy said, why? Then Tang Tang said, because it's true. She's self-aware. And Daddy said, that's right. And everyone's different in their own way. What's important is for us to have a good heart. And this is the part that made me cry. Tang Tang said, and other organs too, right? Right? The young kid was so innocent. She doesn't know how cruel or evil or judgmental the world is. And to have that kind of childlike innocence about you is it just really catches you off guard. So I'm going to post that video here on the description. Make sure you watch it, and I'm sure you're gonna love it. Hey guys, welcome back. So I just saw a video where there was this police officer who was having a stroke while inside the corrections facility. And what I saw on how he got saved really inspired and motivated me. That's why I wanted to share it with you as well. So I hope it does the same for you. And the name of the deputy officer who was having a stroke is Deputy Patrick. Now, Deputy Patrick is known as a kind and good officer to the inmates inside the corrections facility. And when he had a stroke, it was unbelievable and no one would have expected it, but the inmates themselves came to the rescue of the officer. Right? Like, normally what you would think for people who are in prison, normally people would think or imagine that they would take advantage of the situation to get the gun, to get the keys, to try to escape. But this was just different. This is just my opinion, but I believe the officer was so good and kind to the inmates that the inmates would not let a fellow human being die, right? They respected and loved that deputy officer so much that they had to come to his rescue. They rang the phone, they talked on the comms and alerted them about the emergency. And eventually, the inmates were hailed as heroes. And this is really inspiring because it just goes to show us that we cannot really judge people based on their past mistakes, right? We never knew how they got into prison, what mistakes they did, but everyone makes mistakes. Not everyone gets caught. And people who get caught, not all of them are really guilty. And who knows, even if they're guilty, it's also possible they have changed. So this is a beautiful and inspiring message that spoke to me and speaks to all of us that if we're in a bad place right now, it's possible to still be kind, to change. And this is a reminder as well that let's always have a good heart towards our fellow human beings, regardless of what they've done, who they are. Because if we're in the same place, that's how we would also like to be treated. Welcome back. And yeah, thanks for watching. So I want you to imagine this. You're so broke right now, and the only option you have is to part with something very important or very precious in your life. That's what happened with this mother and her two kids who walked into a jeweler store. She has this piece of jewelry, hands it over to the man, the jeweler, and the man takes a look and asks her, "Why do you need to sell it?" The mother explains, "I'm so broke right now and I need the money." Jeweler goes to the front desk or counter, takes a glass that they use, to appraise the jewelry, and asks her again, "Is the only reason you're selling this is because you're broke?" The mother explains, "That's right. And it's actually a gift from my parent, but I gotta do it." So the jeweler asks her, "How much do you need?" The woman explains, "However much the jewelry can give me." So the man takes out some money from the register, counts it in front of the lady, right? Hands her the cash, and this is where the good part begins. Picks up the jewelry and hands it back to the mother. And I kid you not, she was shocked. She was surprised, and it's a very emotional moment from there on. Now, how often does that happen? Someone doesn't know you, right? This person, the jeweler doesn't know the mother. She doesn't know him. And yet, the man did it for her. Imagine if you have the capacity and the heart to help people who are in need. Imagine if people did that more frequently. The world will be a much better place. Right? So she hands her a note with his number, tells her, contact me if you need anything else, and don't go anywhere else. If you need to sell it, come back here. And tells the boy, one of her kids, take care of your mother. Right? So this is another inspiring story that random acts of kindness like this helps not just the people you're actually helping, but it actually helps me make content that can help motivate and uplift others as well. So I hope if you have the capacity to do kindness, to help others, let's go do it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching and welcome back. So today we have another good story for you. So Nathan Booz always knew that he was an adoptive son in the family he grew up with, right? So based on how he narrated his story, apparently it wasn't a secret. He knew he was adopted, and his parents were cool about it in being open and transparent about the situation. Now, Nathan didn't have that curiosity growing up and didn't mind if he never knew his father. I myself, I never knew my father, right? And when he became an adult, he asked his own parents about his own father, right? He got curious about his biological father. So his parents were really good and fantastic about it. They searched for his biological father and pointed out on a picture. Now, what's weird about this is Nathan Booz is a truck driver, and they discovered that the man, his biological father, also happened to be a truck driver. So they never knew about each other, but they ended up in the same profession. And what's even more What's even more coincidental about the situation is they actually work in the same company. They are co-workers. So Nathan eventually stepped up and approached the man, and Bob was also surprised to discover that Nathan was his son. So this is not the channel where we talk about or we make presumptions or we judge the person for the choices they made in their life or in their past. What we'd like to focus on is their interaction. So when Nathan met Bob, their interaction was extremely friendly, no drama, and at the same time, both of them were very open in getting to know each other, which was great. And Nathan, according to what he said, he's happy and glad to discover that Bob is his father, and he's just taking it one day at a time to get to know more about his father. And Nathan and Bob, they actually got to the point where they are becoming best friends, or they became best friends. So it's a wonderful story where even if they got separated, when they got back together, the relationship was restored. So yeah, watch the story and I hope you get inspired.